Everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hey Bucko Outdoors. Please do me a huge favor, subscribe if you haven't already. Trying to reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers this year. Really help me out if you did that. Like, share, and comment if you like what we do here at the channel. Helps promote this channel and the algorithms, and helps get us more traction as we move along in our journey. Thank you. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode. I want to be discussing something in here today's video that is pretty important, especially as a firearms owner, especially as a hunter, something that requires a good bit of ammunition. I love target shooting, I love long range shooting, hunting. All that takes a lot of freedom seeds, a lot of bullets. We're going to discuss where are we at with the ammo shortage here in 2022. I've done a bit of research on this, and just from an outsider looking into the industry, just want to see, kind of what's going on. So I'm going to break it down. Excuse me if I look over here to my left. I'm looking at my notes. Helps keep me on the track so I don't, go off on a tangent of some weird shit. So, all right. Right now, the availability of the major calibers has substantially increased. By major calibers, I mean 5.56, 223, 9mm, 22 long rifle. 12 gauge has increased a little bit from what I've seen. 308, 6.5 Creedmoor surprisingly hasn't, at least from what I've seen, hasn't increased in as much supply as I would like. Moving on to our next point, price remains overly inflated, even accounting for the 7.2% inflation that we've encountered in 2021, which is unfortunate. I've noticed that if you're going to purchase from an online retailer, typically things are going to be a little bit better. You're still going to pay probably over 40%. Maybe 30% over MSRP. Typically, I actually just placed an ammo order today. I think for a box of ammo that cost $8.95 MSRP, I paid $12, which honestly isn't bad compared to some of the big box stores like Bass Pro, Cabela's, etc., etc. They're slowly trickling down though, the prices at least. I have a feeling as we start to wind out of the coup phase with all the variants that they keep coming out with. I'm not going to talk too much about that. I don't get into politics. I honestly couldn't care less. I think we're going to start seeing more availability, and eventually prices are going to trickle down with that. Ammo manufacturers are dealing with the supply chain issues just like everybody else. As you can see in the food industry, clothing, etc., etc., they're dealing with the same stuff. So you have to give them a little bit of leeway there. Components are harder to manufacture now because of that. They're more expensive. Therefore, the components being expensive, they can't just not raise the price of everything. They have to pass that on to the consumer in some sense. Are they doing a little bit too much? I think they are. I think they're trying to get away with more than they should because they realize they're going to be able to sell their ammo for whatever you're willing to pay. And as we've seen the last year and a half, we're able to sell it for way more than we want to buy it for, but we still buy it. Let's see. Like I said, components are extremely hard to come by now, especially if you reload your own ammo. Less sought after / novelty cartridges. For example, I'm getting into Milsurps, 8mm Mauser, 6.5x52, 7x57, stuff like that. Typically, that is a novelty cartridge, even obsolete, one might say. When it comes to certain hunting cartridges, 7mm Magnum, 7mm 08, 300 Win Mag, stuff like that. They're not going to be making as much of that because they're not selling as much of that. There's not as much of a market, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, Remington, Winchester, Norma, Hornady, a bunch of the other ones get together and find a way to figure this out. As we saw in the 2021 hunting season, this was quite evident. There was a good shortage of particular hunting rounds that I like to use and a lot of my friends like to use. I mean, I had to deal into helping my friends find certain hunting ammo because I'm from the Midwest. We either have flat, open terrain on cornfields or you got the bush thicket down in the southeast. So there's a little bit in between, but not much. So you're either going to be using a brush gun or something flat or shooting like a 308 6.5. So definitely I would hope that manufacturers get together instead of just dumping all the resources into producing the big 5 like 5.56, 9mm, 223, etc. They start looking into something that another part of their customer base is dealing with. That's typically what I'm seeing from looking into what we're seeing in the beginning of 2022. Do I think it's going to get better? Yes. I think once we start getting the issues with the supply chain figured out, stuff will start to come down in price a little bit more. I mean, even from this time last year, you went from paying probably $20 to $25 for a box of, let's say, 5.56 down to being able to pay $13, $12 even in some cases. When I was home in December, I even saw some 5.56 for $11. Now, is that to say you can't find it cheaper? Sure, Tula and Wolf make other offerings that are of lower quality, but you're going to pay for it less instead of paying $12 a box and pay maybe $7 a box for 5.56. The main thing I'm concerned with, I mean, the supply is there. If I walk into Bass Pro in 3 different states, which I have in the last couple of months, and I see piles and piles of 5.56, 300 blackout, 308, 22, etc., it's really disappointing to see it just there. And they know they aren't selling as much because the price is there. I mean, it's no longer like, oh my God, like what the heck's happening? But you also have to realize you had like an insane amount of new gun owners that came into the market. I think it's upwards of 7 million. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but if you have that many new gun owners and they're going to probably stick to the mainstream cartridges, 9mm, 5.56, etc., you're going to have an unseen and unfathomable demand on these rounds that we haven't seen in recent years. So that's something to take into account too. I think that's starting to level out though. So there is hope for this year. Hopefully the firearms industry, the Pew industry can get back on track and be where they need to be. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Please do me a huge favor and do those things I asked you to do at the beginning of the video. Everyone, please have a fantastic day.